What's going on?
Hey,
How are you? How are you? Did you get
yeah,
the topic that I had for today? I may put it in here.
about vulnerability or something.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, we have a listener already. Hello, Dr. Anderson. Welcome. And I know that Damon may have some free time today. And Tank. They're around Damon. And
Yeah, because and not because no school, so he should.
right.
Everybody really should be.
They have
I'm on my way home now.
they live it with the superintendent in Augusta because
Why?
he didn't cancel school. And it was canceled in both, all the counties, surrounding counties, Aiken County, Columbia County in Georgia, all the other counties they canceled. Oh,
I mean, I just feel like if the buses can safely run, I don't really see the point of canceling school. But I'm not sure what all the reasons go into why they do it. But I mean, I know the buses are a big
well,
factor.
you're right, and the weather may look okay at 6 a.m., but if the snow is scheduled to come through at 11, and now everyone's parked in a parking lot for hours. Hey, London, hello, Jeff, Leo, Liz, everybody, hello, and welcome. I'm on list, but the topic for today is posted again. Please grab a seat. We're going to start recording in like 2 minutes.
So I'm probably gonna go on. I mean, I'm gonna talk when I need to, but I'm gonna go on mute until I get in the house because I'm in the
I know
car.
you're
So I don't
traveling.
know if
That's
you can hear
cool.
the I don't know if you can hear like the background noise. I try not to have
No,
no.
no, you
Oh, you
actually
can't.
you got
Okay,
an Android.
don't play with me. Yeah,
You got you
good.
got
Well,
to.
good. Well, I don't have no Android.
Oh, okay. Because we mastered the noise canceling. London,
Whatever.
hello. Liz, hello. Hey, we have these seats available. We're going to need the
And I know this
come in
is
and
a
get some
topic
feedback.
that we have talked about before. So
Right. Well, and you know what? I lose track of the old topics. I just look at what the subscribers submit. And
yeah,
of course,
we've definitely talked about this before, but we can talk about it.
yeah, others may have some questions, comments, or concerns.
And this is not a very difficult topic to talk about because, in my opinion, pretty good.
Oh, and I have to go back and look at the other 1 second.
This was a while ago though. This was a topic like in like one of those first shows, like maybe in the first couple months. So it's been a minute since we talked. Let's see, Chef Leo called in.
Hello, Leo. We need a sound check.
Yes,
Something.
I'm here.
Okay, so we
I'm
can get
here.
around here.
Yeah. All right. Just want to make sure. How y'all doing today?
Doing well.
Great.
So we're gonna go ahead and start recording in 5, 1.
And real quick,
Okay, everyone, welcome to today's show.
I got everything right so far. Total damage. What is that? Add those two together.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Tavana, want to introduce yourself? You can give us our topic for today, please, ma'am.
Hey y'all. Well, you're gonna have to read it if I'm still trying. So, but hey y'all. It's Savannah. Thank y'all for joining us today. Don't know what's going on in y'all's neck of the woods, but it's winter advisory here in the southeast. So we have some cold rain and some places are getting snow. So everybody out there, if you're listening and traveling, be safe out there and thank you for taking the ride with us today.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Our subscriber wants to discuss vulnerability, emotional and physical. What factors influence the timing of being vulnerable in relationships? And can we recall moments when you were vulnerable? Was it embraced? Did you regret it? Was it welcome? What was your outcome? Reasons why one would be hesitant to be vulnerable and what effects it may have. I like these, multi-part questions. And Who wants to go first? Savannah? Leo?
I'll go. I mean, I think, in my opinion, vulnerability is a personal thing, right? Your vulnerability should not be predicated on another person. If you choose to be vulnerable, then or choose not to be vulnerable, that should be something that's within you. You know, you make that call. I don't personally think it should be predicated on another person. Me personally, I think that vulnerability is great. I think that you have to be able to let your guard down. You have to be able, and vulnerability to me kind of goes hand in hand a lot of times with honesty, because a lot of times, in order to get to some deeper truths, that level of vulnerability has to come out, because a lot of people sometimes tend to hold on to that and, hold on to certain things and don't want to be vulnerable for whatever reason. So there's sometimes that can kind of blur some truth and definitely blur some transparency. But I personally think you should be vulnerable all the time. Does it backfire? Sure, maybe. But, I'm not the type of person that holds other people accountable for other people's mistakes, right? So if I was vulnerable with person A and person A does not take that vulnerability with care, I'm not going to say, oh, to person B, well, I'm not going to be vulnerable with you because person A, did this. But that's just how I feel about it. Chef Leo, what's your opinion?
You know, Leo, he's muted right now. I don't know if he's talking with someone else. And now this is coming back to me. When we discussed this before, I think that the men held grudges longer than women. It was like,
Absolutely.
yeah,
They were, when we talked about it before, the men were pretty much saying that the reason that they do not show that vulnerable side is out of fear of it being thrown back in their face later during arguments and things like that. So, and because like I just said, somebody has done that to them in the past, it makes it hard for the next person to get in. You know what I mean? And that's unfortunate, because I don't think you can hold somebody else at hostage for what, another person did. You should be able to give them the opportunity to handle your heart with care.
Can y'all hear me now?
yes, we can.
Okay, great. Yes, I totally disagree with you. So sorry about it, but yes, men don't normally. One thing about men, when men do love, they love. And the thing about it is, when men get stuff thrown back, because first of all, for a man don't want to be hard all the time. A man do want to be vulnerable. And when they choose to make that they really want to be vulnerable with, what tend to happen is when they get into an argument, all of my secrets, what I thought was what my significant other spouse or whatever, it tends to come back up in our face. And so, in that right there, if that was the case, I would have never even opened up myself, because I'm thinking like we're together. You know, these are deep, dark secrets that I thought that I could share with you. But when they get thrown back up in my face, and normally it would be in an argumentative type of way, that's when men tend to retract. And they don't want to be trying to be vulnerable because, when we put ourselves out there, be like, okay, we're going to be with this person. You know what I'm saying? We all in. With men, when we go all in, we really truly do go all in. And I really do hear women be like, oh, men, 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 men. But when men really love hard. Because again, we have to be vulnerable because we're opening up ourselves for I'll say for this particular person. And it's specifying that more or less I'm saying I'm just gonna go all out. Because when men truly goes all out, he truly shows his woman. He really, because we're naturally the predator. You're naturally the prey. So we're the hunters. We normally go after it. And so when we go after it and we actually say, I want to let my hair down and want to actually open up to either my history, my past, or some things that happened to me, I don't need that thrown back up in my face because you want to do a dig or anything like that or hit me below the belt. And that's just my take on it.
Mm. I kind of agree with what Chef Leo was saying, and just from personal experiences. And to one, I respect what you're saying as well. It gives a different perspective and something to think about. And it really isn't fair to the person that did not contribute to that trauma. But again,
Exactly, because it's a trauma. And here's the thing. I think for as much is required, right? It should go both ways. If a woman is guarded and not vulnerable because of her traumas and her past, then the man will say, "Well, you're not opening up to me. You're not talking to me, and I shouldn't have to pay for what he did." You hear that all the time. But then when you reverse it, it's like, "Oh, well, I'm not going to do that." Well, why not? Why does a woman have to be forgiving and let her guard down multiple times? But a man is like one and done. Oh, well, if the first woman did it to me, oh well, I'm not giving another one a chance. You see what I'm saying? And it shouldn't
Oh,
be that way.
okay, I agree with you, but the thing about it is what happens what happens with women normally carry baggage from a previous relationship, previous marriage, or whatnot. Men normally don't.
wrong.
No,
Oh,
that's not
Everybody
true.
does.
Everybody does.
I said men normally don't.
You're
I
wrong.
did not say,
No, they
okay,
all do.
well,
Everybody
okay,
does.
well,
Just say
well,
people. Just say
well, okay,
people.
well, okay, people. Okay, so people speaking saying, okay, because you threw me. People normally don't carry, because one thing about it is a man, especially with a detachment to an attachment, that's where I'm saying what I say. Because normally what men do, if men ain't really attached to a woman, he will not be vulnerable with that woman. It's just I hit it and quit it. You know what I'm saying? Or one night stand or whatever it is.
So
But when
let's
a
ask
man
this.
has,
I don't want to
okay,
cut you off, but what factors influence the timing of being vulnerable in a relationship? When do you think it's okay to be vulnerable?
when you have some time in. I'm thinking like maybe a year or so in to it, and you're feeling comfortable with this person. Because first of all, vulnerability is when you're feeling comfortable. You can try to let your guard down, and so when you're letting your guard down, the first thing you're saying is, okay, well, I see a future with this person. And so when you see a future with this person, that's when you're like, okay, well, I can open up a little bit more, and you'll start letting a little bit more, only to have it thrown back up in your face later on when you start opening up a little bit more. And first thing you'll say is, well, damn, good thing I ain't telling the real deep stuff because that would have been all over, especially with the internet and everything else like that right now. Men really are on it. They're really guarded.
What, what I've learned just from personal experience, the timing for me, as far as being vulnerable, I think it's a reciprocation process. I think that when a person is vulnerable with me, it like creates a safe space to where I can be vulnerable with them. Like you
I was just
shared.
about to say that a year. I was just about to
Yeah, I
a
could put a
year
time.
in,
Yeah,
a
I could put
year.
a
If
time
it
limit on
takes
it.
you a year to be vulnerable, that is not your person because that is
And
insane.
I've been friends, may have been intimate with people for several years and have never been vulnerable because we never made it to that level or to that place. But if I'm just conversing with someone and being vulnerable in a friendship as well, because another part is like recall moments when you were vulnerable, right? And this is not a relationship. This is just a friendship. So Tank, I've known Tank his whole life. And I say his whole life because, I'm about 6 years older. Now, of course, that friendship transitioned because he went from being my boy's little cousin to one of the boys playing ball in the park to a student. And I blinked overnight. He went in the military and came back a grown man that I could actually call and discuss things with, business, credit, marriage, relationships. But we went to a bachelor party in Atlanta. And I don't know why. I don't know why. I must have been picking the car from Charleston or something. But anyway, on our way back to Charleston, he stopped and picked me up in Augusta, and we rode to Charleston. That was the first time that we spent hours together, right? And we became vulnerable. We shared. you know, relationship experiences, life experiences. And it's like, okay, I'm sharing with him, he's sharing with me. And in my opinion, that experience took our friendship to more of a brotherhood. So just in retrospect, I think that it happens to me whenever a person shares their vulnerability. And the reason why one would hesitate, of course, is like, hey, I was vulnerable. I shared some things and it got thrown in my face. But Tawana, go ahead. And Tank, Deborah, hello, welcome. Please chime in.
I mean, I agree with everything you said. My only
Hey guys.
issue is
Wait,
my,
what? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What did you just say?
I agree with you.
That's why it's snowing. Okay.
Oh, don't
That's
do that.
why it's snowing out
I
here.
agree with y'all a lot. Don't do that.
Lord
Tank,
have
did you hear
mercy.
that, Tank? Oh my God.
Lord.
It's going to snow for a week.
They're trying to play you, Savannah. They're trying
They
to play
are,
with you.
you know what? Only because this is a family show that they can get away with that.
Oh my
I
God.
know, because Facebook ain't a family store, boy. Can we catch HELL on Facebook with you?
Yeah, exactly. So play with somebody else. Okay.
Go ahead.
So, but I agree with what you said. My only issue is again not making people pay for what other people did. You know what I'm saying? And because
Mhm.
you could be missing out on someone who can be a support system, who can be whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because you're still damaged and traumatized from somebody 10 years ago throwing something back in your face when you were vulnerable. So now this person doesn't get the opportunity to be that for you. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that's unfortunate. And I think what people have to realize is that this thing in terms of relationships and stuff like that, it's a crapshoot. Like you don't know. And if you don't know what you're gonna get, and it could be good for a minute and then it's not. But you don't know that. We don't have a crystal ball that tells us what's gonna be good and what's gonna be bad. So you have to, I mean, how do you know? You don't know. So you have to be, in my opinion, you should be vulnerable. You should give people a chance. And if someone does not do right by it, then you treat that person accordingly. But you don't make everybody pay for that.
I agree with you. You don't make everyone pay for it, but my only question that I have for the panel is what happened to the ethic? What happened to the moral? What happened to the values that you actually grew up with? Some of us grew up with. There's some stories that Coach R really don't need to say that we actually went through and we were vulnerable. I mean, from time growing, and we still kept our secrets a secret. And so my thing about it is today's time when you actually tell somebody, well, I was homeless at one time, you know, or my father was a drug addict or my mother was a prostitute. And that normally comes back up into your face, you know, cause like, oh man, who you think you are now? You know what I'm saying? You grew up like this, that, and the third. And you thinking like, oh man, wow, I thought we were cool. We were just cool a week ago. But now all of a sudden I didn't do what you wanted me to do. So now all of a sudden this coming back up at me. That's just the only thing. So I don't know if it's our choices of people or what. Help me, panel.
I mean, I definitely think that, I mean, that's just a lack of character for someone to do something like that for me.
Exactly.
I don't have a problem being vulnerable, but that's mainly because, like, I don't know. I don't have a problem like owning my truth. Like I'm not out here doing nothing I can't say I did, nothing I can't repeat. There's nothing you can throw at me that happened in my past that's gonna make me look at myself and say, "Oh, I was such a horrible person," or like anything. Like if
I
I
was
did
gonna
it, I
ask
did
that
it.
too,
I
Deborah.
own it, and so I'm able to be vulnerable with people, that I'm just meeting, that I've been known, and it doesn't bother me because, like, if I know me and I trust me, what can you do?
And I was gonna ask that too. Like when I know that that's what was that came up before the last time we had this conversation about the quote unquote throwing it in your face. And I feel like Deborah, I, I don't really understand
throw it in my face type of thing, because if I told you, it is what it is. Like, what is there to quote unquote throw in my face? Like, you can't make me feel bad about it. It does not gonna make me feel bad. Like, what can you possibly say to me about my truth that I'm gonna feel bad? Like, I don't really.
I think what Leo is referencing is more of life experiences.
Even
I don't have
those
a
though.
problem with
Even
no.
those, when you think about it, Koshan, even those, like, if this is my experience and this is my truth, right? Then that's what it is. Like, my dad was a drug addict. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah,
can't
I
ever
can
throw
say
that
that.
back in my face. Like,
We
I
can say
didn't.
that, but some people, like what Leo was referencing, and I'll use myself as an example. My father battled substance abuse for 8 years. When I was in middle school, I was a master shoplifter. I would steal wardrobes. I would go into to stores and take, because if I'm gonna steal, I'm going all the way. I'm gonna get the same time, and that's how I thought. So I'm stealing 5 jeans, 8 shirts, 3 hoodies, sneakers, and everything. And on one day, I got caught. They were chasing me out of the mall, and by the grace of God, Leo happened to be in the parking lot, and he saw these guys chasing me out of the sporting goods store, and he jumped out and ripped his shirt off and chased them back in the mall. I can laugh at it now, but when later in life, when I became a business owner, and you know, I don't think that was my character at the time, because sometimes life puts you in places where you do things that you probably would never do. And then thankfully I don't have to do those things now. But what he's saying is people would be like, oh, he acting like such and such. Man, he used to steal this. He used to such and such. And I was 12 years old in the seventh grade. So they're talking about things that happened when I was 11 and 12, because like I said, my father had a substance addiction.
But why wouldn't
And
your response be, yeah, I did it, and so, like, why
yeah,
is it?
for me, that's what it is. But everyone doesn't react the way that I do. And that's what he's saying. And it's like, why do people do those things? And like, we had a crew where we would swap clothing. We would go to the laundromat and dye our clothes, act like we had a new wardrobe the next week, because it's
Say
cheaper
what?
to buy a box of dye than a pair of jeans. So,
Wait a minute.
so
Wait
oh
a
yeah,
minute.
we came up rough. So we would go to the grocery store and buy the box of red dye. I was a little nerd. I knew what colors mixed from the rainbow, and I could make any color jeans you wanted. So the whole yellow and blue mixed green, we were making colors with the dye in the laundromat and making jeans. So we could make 2 jeans look like 20, and we would
But that's
dye them.
creativeness. Like, you
It
gotta
was,
own that.
it
It's
was,
your creativeness.
it was.
But
But
I could see at that age it not being something you could be vulnerable about.
it was done out of necessity, and and
Right.
um like, it's like, okay, somebody from our crew would never reveal the things that we did for each other. Like, if I didn't have, like the weather is right now, if I didn't have a coat, I could call Leo, hey, just swing by the house, bro. I know Leo is going to have that stone wash trench coat or that white Adidas hoodie. He's going to make sure I'm warm. But that's the way we grew up. That's the way we came up. So the vulnerability, not just in intimate relationships, but in friendships, it's built and it's lasting. It's like going through a hard time. A lot of people don't feel comfortable, like, oh, I'm back on my bills, or my husband got laid off. I need help financially. Those are the things that I think about as well when you have to be vulnerable. And who can you be vulnerable with? And how would you feel if you share that with a friend and then it was thrown in your face later on? You know, girl, you married him. Then you have to pay his
And
child support.
oh, I was broke at that time. I can shoot. What you want me to say? I was broke. Hello. I had my struggle. I made it through it. I bet you I ain't broke no more though. So now what? Like, what you want to say?
Yeah, and that's great. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I'm glad you have that, my warranty. But The only thing of what it is what I'm just saying is friends. Normally, like you say, when a friend can say, man, listen, I'm shooting bad and I need a couple of stacks. Okay, I don't need the whole world out here knowing that I borrowed a couple of stacks from you. You understand what I mean? Because
Right.
that was something that I thought was an intimate moment between me and my friend, girl or man. You know what I mean? So, and not everybody always have. And you know what I'm saying? Or not everybody can always share. My only thing about it is if I'm sharing with you, my only thing about it is I don't need that coming back up. And so when the timing of vulnerability, I knew you said a year. Wow, you're gonna take a year because the thing about it is when you done been, and again, when people
Betrayed.
done been hurt, yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. So my only thing about it is I'm just trying to just tread more lightly and then making sure before I open myself up that this person is trustworthy. So my only thing about like I look at it like a bank right now. Are you really credit worthy? So really are you trustworthy? And that's just the thing. So this you can call it whatever, but like I said, Coach Sean and I we go back so far and the stories he tells are he's not really even diving into some really deep things. But as I said,
But they don't believe it. It's so our life is so bizarre that people really think that I'm lying or exaggerating. But
yeah, but actually, he's not even touching even
the surface of what we've been through.
not
Right.
yeah, exactly. But when you look at us now, we literally can say, okay, yeah, that was us back then. You're looking at businessmen now, but the
Right.
thing about it is, do you know our struggle? And just to have that
They
struggle
don't
to come
they
back,
don't care about that part. And a lot of people
no,
never went through what we went through. And yeah, they couldn't
But
have
I
done
mean,
the
you
thing.
could tell somebody in a month and it never get thrown back in your face. You
Right.
could wait a year and it get thrown back in your face. So you never know.
yeah, and
So
that's what I'm saying. The choices of people, I guess, for the exposure. That's why I was just trying to say. I guess maybe it's on us because our choices of people that we're actually letting into our circle aren't really the best. I thought we were better judge of characters, but apparently we may not be.
but it's not, I don't think it's a judge of character, right? It's a, just like what you just mentioned, the credit worthiness, right? So you could have somebody who has a great credit score. The bank is like throwing money at them because they seem credit worthy. But then they might just be like, you know what? To hell with them bills. I ain't paying them bills. But you don't know that. But they don't, the bank don't know that when they give them the loan. You see what I'm saying? There's no way to future cash. That's
I'd
what
like
my
to jump
point is.
in right quick for a minute, if y'all don't mind.
Yes,
Excuse-
ma'am.
I'm a little sick under the weather, so y'all have to excuse
Oh,
me.
go ahead.
But I have learned over the years and with some therapy that vulnerability is dependent upon the person, the place, and the time. There's some things that you will tell some people, but you won't tell others. There's some things that you will tell somebody today to one person that you might divulge later on down the road with somebody else. And that comes with discernment. And a lot of that, again, comes with wisdom, age, and time. You weren't as knowledgeable or wise at 18 and 19 as you are at 40 or 50. And I'm hopefully, and I'm saying that to say I was more vulnerable in my earlier years because I was ignorant and allowed people and trusted people more than I should have, thinking they were like me. They were honest. They were open. They were trustworthy. Now that I'm older, I realize I can give you access to my house, but I don't have to give you the key and the security code. You see what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes sense. So
It makes
I
plenty of
think,
sense.
I think that, excuse me, we have to get better as a people with not grouping people together because we're quick to say men are more this, women are more this. And I think it was Tavana or Deborah, one of you, like you kept bringing it back and you should. And it's people. It's not women. It's not men. It's people. You need to be more
Actually,
discerning about the people that you are vulnerable with.
Right.
When you are vulnerable with them
You're taking
and
credit.
where you are vulnerable with them. Just like I'm not going to be vulnerable on TikTok like I am in my therapist's office. Two different places. So I guess that's all I have to say. But yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
my thing.
For me, I did a whole YouTube thing where I forced myself to be vulnerable with the world. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't about, and it necessarily wasn't about me. Sorry, I'm in the car. About me per se, right? But if I can do this and I can be vulnerable and I can put myself out there, right? One, I'm not delusional to what my truth is. And two, like there's nothing for me, right, that anybody can say to me about my past or my traumas that I don't already know. I haven't already healed. And if I haven't healed it, then that's going to be something that I got to look at. But what I do sometimes, and maybe this is a little shady, I don't know. But at times, if I feel like you're somebody I not sure I can trust, I'll throw a little lie out there. I sure will. I'll throw a little lie out there and see if that lie comes back. If somebody repeats it, or you know what I'm saying, if I become a topic of conversation. And if I do, I know exactly who I told that to. So I know exactly who I can't trust.
I think it's also important to differentiate between shame and accountability. So being accountable for what you did in your past is one thing. Working on being ashamed of what you did is another. And that's one thing they teach addicts and victims of abuse to do, is to try to overcome the shame. And that's where vulnerability plays a huge part. So I can be accountable for being an addict, but that doesn't necessarily mean, and I can own up and say, yeah, I did crack. I used to shoot up, but that doesn't mean I've come to terms with the shame and want you to throw it back up in my face 20 years down the road because we're having an argument. So I just want to make sure that we're not conflating like shame and vulnerability.
And
Okay.
I get that, but why would you, like, my thing is, why be ashamed of what you have overcome? And I know people do it, right? I know people have that ability to be ashamed of their past or whatever. But again, like I said, for me, I'm not doing nothing I'm going to be ashamed to say I did. So
Then we
there,
gotta go
there,
back to
there
what we
take that
talked
out
about
the
before,
window.
Deborah. That's you. That's not most people. And you've probably had therapy. Most people don't have therapy. Most people don't even know that what they're suffering from is shame. So that being said, the little girl who's molested at 5, you can't tell her by 30, you should have gotten over that. You can't do that. But she may tell this man, hey, I was molested at 5. That's why I don't really like to be touched that way. They get into an argument. He throws it up in her face. Yeah, she was vulnerable with him. And he threw that up in her face. But is that
True,
something that we can say, oh,
true.
she should have gotten over that? That you can't do that.
Well, I was that
That's
little
not cool.
girl.
That's not fair.
I was that little girl, and I have had that thrown back in my face.
And it
But
wasn't good, was it?
and no, it wasn't good. It wasn't. I will say 100% it wasn't good, but it also didn't deter me from being able to like trust people and be vulnerable with people, because maybe you were just a shit person. Sorry, excuse my French. And now you're somebody I don't. I just choose not to deal with. That's just how I. That's how I'm gonna play that. That's how I'm gonna move that. You just are no longer allowed in my life. Period.
But
Point
see,
blank.
that's why I like you. It can relate to you because we're a lot alike. I'm like you in that way. However, the majority of people are not. That's why there's so many
Right.
broken adults in this world, because they
Right.
cannot and have not healed from their traumas.
Right. I've had a lot of my friends say, like, how are you so easy and able to walk away from like people and relationships and stuff like that? I'm like, baby, when it's not for you, it's not for you. And sometimes we got to understand that stuff just ain't for us. And the longer we try to hold on to it and nurture it, and, you know, it's only going to put us in a state of confusion and lack
You're right.
and whatever have you. And I'm not doing that to myself. So
But see, for me,
if that's where
Deborah,
you
I don't
want to
know
be,
about you. I don't know about you, but for me, that took thousands of dollars of therapy for me to get there. And most
you
people
want to
don't
know what
can't
I've
afford that.
never been to therapy.
And that's what I'm saying.
Never
We're
been
both
to
in the
therapy.
same place. I had to get therapy. You didn't. What about the people who need therapy and can't afford it? And that's why they aren't where you are. Therefore, I try
Right.
to give people grace and try to be understanding of the fact that I've been fortunate that I have been able to overcome that. But I can't begrudge other people for not having the ability to be upfront about their vulnerabilities and their shame. I can't do that.
Well, I think fear and shame are two of the most powerful emotions. And they're the two things that
100%.
keep people shackled, right?
That's
Because
true. I
it's
agree.
just what you said. Because when you couple them, it's easy. It's almost a no chance, right?
Exactly.
You can have fear and no shame, shame and no fear. But if you have both, you probably not, you going to be a
It's
very hard person
paralyzing.
it is. And
Yeah.
so, and that definitely will affect your vulnerability. But like Lizzie said, you have to be able to recognize that. And unfortunately, a lot of people aren't able to do that. They don't realize that it's fear. They're not realizing it's shame. They don't understand. They see the fruit that is bearing off of the tree, but they have
Mm-hmm.
not dug into the root. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem. When people start digging into their root, they will understand this is why I'm not vulnerable. This is why, and like, that's the only way you can heal. Why people like Deborah, me, why we can be vulnerable with you today after knowing you a week. And then if it don't work, it just don't work. And like, you know what I'm saying? Cause I'm gonna go to the next person and then I'm gonna be vulnerable with that person too. Because when you are already healed from it, there's no fear it being thrown back in your face, right? Because it's nothing to throw back at you. You're good.
I just I just have one question. At what level of vulnerability would you go with someone that you know for a week or so? What level?
What you want to know?
Yeah, I go all in. I'm an open book.
Like, what you want? I'm one of those people
No,
that what you want to know, and I'm gonna tell you.
transparency is one thing. I'm transparent, but I've been called selfish many times because I can't detach myself away from anybody because if we're not on the same, if we're not compatible or I see we're not equating at all, I can walk away. They'd be like, well, how can you walk away? That's totally selfish. I'm like, no, I'm not spending my energy on someone who we're not compatible.
Well, and
Or
I think we've talked about this before, Leah. I don't know if you were on before, but we've talked about getting instead of having them superficial conversations day one,
Mhm.
having some really deep conversations day one.
Right.
It
Right.
just it takes away a whole bunch of that. So you
Do you
ask me
have gas
how
in your
deep will I go?
in your
How
sleep?
deep will I go in a week?
Right.
As
yes,
deep as I need to. You see what I'm saying? Because I would rather go as deep as I need to day two than
yes.
to not go deep and I've wasted 6 months. You see what I'm saying? Let's
Oh,
get it all out here now.
again, and so
Right.
my
I need
thing
to
about
know if I turn you off because I'm too sexual or I'm too open or I'm too like I need to know that up front. I don't need to
I don't
take 6 months for me to figure that out.
listen. I don't think no man had turned down anything sexual. I think that that
That's
they
not true.
That's not
That's
true.
not true. That's not
That's
true.
not
Energy
true.
Some
wrong.
men,
whoa, whoa,
some
whoa,
Yeah,
some men,
whoa.
Leo.
no, listen,
Yeah,
listen, listen, listen. Some men,
I'm a student. Yes, I'm a
some men
student
are
right now.
some men are, because you said something important earlier. You said we are naturally the hunters and y'all are the prey. However, that is not actually very accurate. We
Yeah,
are
some may get
mammals.
turned off by
And
that.
in and
Yeah.
listen, we are mammals. Human beings are mammals. And
Correct.
most of the animal kingdom, most mammals, if you look at most mammals, the woman is the hunter, not the
Well,
man.
well,
So we have been
in the lion, yes, I understand the lioness normally be the one, but
so what I'm saying is
uh-huh.
instinctually, right?
Okay,
Now the
yeah,
male lion is the protector of the pride. But when it's time to
correct.
go hunt, the lioness does that. Humans are almost the exact same way. The male is the protector, but really who's out there making it
It's
shake
groceries
is the woman,
yeah.
right? So therefore, a lot of times, because men have that misconception that their woman should not be aggressive, should be so a little bit more docile, and you know what I'm saying? That's what they've been taught. So when you have a woman that's coming straight at you, that's like night one, hey, what you want to do? It throws him off. Because now he is perceived, now he's feeling like the prey. And for most men that have that type of mindset of hunter prey, like what you talked about, to feel like the prey makes them uncomfortable. But when you have a man who understands how this works instinctually with both men and women, not just the BS that we've been taught all of our lives, they're not offended or feel some kind of way about that. They're able to be like, yo, all right, cool. And they're not going to look at her like something is wrong with her. They're not going to say, oh, well, she got to be a hoe. No, she's being honest with you.
Yeah.
Because again,
Right.
why do we need to waste time? Why do I need to make you wait 90 days when you're going to be working with 3 inches and it's going to last 5 minutes? I'm going to be pissed. So I'm not going to do that.
You mad? You up there with 5 minutes?
No, I'm the whole.
Tell them to say amen. Say amen.
To know night one, I need to know night one, because for me that's a deal breaker. For me, that's a deal breaker. If that ain't good, it's a deal breaker. So I need to know that.
The 3 inches or the 5 minutes. I'm just
all of it. If it's horrible, it's a deal breaker for me. Yeah. So I would rather get that out the way. I would rather do that than to know your middle name.
I wish more women was like that.
Your middle name.
I wish more women were like that.
Yeah.
Right. Me too.
I done spent $40.
Hey, Tavon, everything you said is so true.
You be leaving $40 on the dresser when you leave in the morning?
I do.
When you leave right after?
I actually have. Let me tell y'all something. Let me tell y'all a true story. Swear to God. The first time I left money on a nightstand, yo, this dude was so shook. Like, I don't think he
I gave you your money back though. But I gave you your money back.
No, he ain't giving me. He ain't giving me the money back. But he felt some kind of way because he was like, I feel used. What? Why you feel used for? Like, this was a transaction.
So it was good. Okay.
It was, but it was a transaction. It was still a transaction. It was, you get paid for your time and services. So hey, that's how I felt
what I'm
about
talking about. Wow. Where the hell you been at all my life? A lot of women, I mean, never mind. We're keeping this PG, but okay, yes, go ahead, finish. I apologize.
What I'm saying, because it's the equivalent, right?
Yeah.
For me, it's the equivalent. If a man, you go out, you go to dinner, you took her to the movies, you spent some money. There's transactional, right? So when it's time to come in for coffee, you really don't want coffee, right? You want to finish out.
That nightcap is a real nightcap. Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing for a woman. And again, we have been, unfortunately, we talk about this a lot on here about unlearning some of these societal constraints and restrictions that people put on men and women, because we are really no different. Men and women are really no different. It's just the programming that we get.
Correct.
I have said that a million times. You know what I'm saying? We are not biologically and instinctually, we are not different. We want the same things y'all want. We go through puberty just like y'all do. Our bodies change. Our hormone, it's the same thing. But we are programmed from an early age to start believing that women should be this, men should be this, and that gets stuck in our heads. So when you meet somebody that goes against that grain, it's like, what's going on here?
So, okay, the stereotype, but I just have one question. Okay, got that. And I love it what you're saying. My only thing about this is besides the money being on the nightstand and whatnot, that threw me. But my question I have, my question I have for you
If it's good, I might leave the money on the nightstand.
Do it, girl. Do it one time. I'm going to tell you it's going to be a game changer for you. Do it.
Right.
Okay.
If it's good, I'm going to leave the money on the nightstand.
Leave 2 crisp $100 bills on that nightstand and see what happens the next day.
Time to go get a haircut today. Baby, go get a haircut because I'm probably going to come see you later, okay? Go get that. Yeah, go get a haircut.
I'm telling you.
This changed the whole game. This
Okay, answer your question, Leo.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've had men tell me I was too forward. Like they didn't want to talk to me because I was too forward because I initiated the conversation and I came up to them. Like, but how does that make me unattractive in any way? Like I see what I
Here's
want.
Programming.
I'm going to
it's
go for
clear.
what I want.
Well,
And
first
what I
of all,
want wants me
Deborah.
or it doesn't.
Yeah.
Thank you,
they're
Deborah.
insecure. Yeah, exactly. They're insecure with their so-called. Well, you got a difference of grown males and a man. A man will love that because first of all, it's like, okay, wow, I'll take that. But a grown male who's, different grown males that have the anatomy of a man, they'll be like, oh my God, because they're feeling in their feeble mind, I'm supposed to be the one who do this. I guess old caveman tactics, bam you across the head, and that's how it was. But if you're becoming the predator and I become the prey, and if I'm not secure with myself, that right there, you know what I'm saying? So that's another issue that for another topic of another day. But
Tank,
the question, yeah.
Yeah, you had a question. Go ahead and answer the question.
go ahead.
Okay, so the question I have is it true that a woman knows she's want to sleep with a man from day one or not?
Yep.
And within 5 seconds. Within 5 seconds.
100% true. 100% true.
As soon as if I walk in the door, if I walk in the door of a place and I see you and there's a little tinkle,
You getting some.
that
You're getting some.
that tingle don't take 30 minutes to come. It's gonna come quickly. Like quick.
Wow.
Quick. So like when men say, "Oh, we're visual creatures," we are too. What you think? You think that we looking at you? Let me tell you something. I done scanned from head to toe in 5 seconds.
I want to address something right quick, Deborah. I want to address something right quick. So, Deborah, the female aggression. Sometimes, let's think about a consumer. A lot of people think that the value in an item comes from what they pay for it. Like, hey, man, I got a $250 outfit, right? And my oldest son and I, we were talking about this. He had a nice, he was like, okay, I see you got your Nike Fit or whatever he called it. And I was like, oh no, this came from Costco. So his Nike outfit was $250, $125 for the bottom, $125 for the top. I paid $11 for the bottom and $12 for the hoodie, right? But I'm showing him the same cotton, the same materials. They just stitch a different logo. And I said that to say this. He feels like he has a $250 outfit on because that's what he paid for it. So for men, they feel like, oh, I had to take this woman shopping. I took her to dinner. I did all these things for her. So now when I do get with her, that is what she's worth because that's what it cost me. That's what I spent on her. And that is what it will cost other men. So now he feels like, oh, your kitty cat is worth a trip, some outfits, a few dinners, perfume, blah, blah, blah. So if she's trying to give it to me, now what is it worth? It's not worth all that. And just subconsciously, some men, because again, as a consumer, we feel like, hey, an item is worth what we paid for it. But go ahead.
Coach Sean, my response to that is my response to that, Coach Sean.
Go ahead, Savannah. I'll go after you. Go ahead, Savannah.
My response to that is F around and find out about the value.
Right. 100%.
You can think whatever you want, baby, but honey, okay.
Oh, I'm not saying
you gonna have the best time of your life and you're gonna save some money because I don't even require all of that.
Right.
Wow.
I'm not saying
your pocket and you gonna have the best vibe of your life.
And listen, I believe it. I'm just saying how some people think. Remember, I'm the dude that gets dressed out of Costco. So that's not me. I don't think the value is in what I, in what I spend.
Correct.
It's in how you make it.
But it's about but like I said, it's about the programming, right?
Right.
This is something that we are taught.
Yes.
First of all, and it's cultural, it's black folk. Because I'm gonna tell you right now,
White women do not
Mm.
teach their daughters like black women teach their daughters.
You're absolutely correct. My
Hold on,
stance when I
elaborate.
was in Germany.
Okay, here, I'm
Yeah.
gonna tell you why. So my roommate, freshman year,
Mm-hmm.
she was from West Virginia, and she said when she turned 12, her mama, well, at 10, her mama taught her how to put on makeup and, do all of this stuff. And at 12, her mama taught her how to pleasure a man.
Hold
Wow.
on. Your college room,
12.
was she white, black?
Yeah, she was white.
Okay.
And her mama said, this is how you gonna eventually get a
Her
husband,
husband. Yeah. I can
right?
see that. Yeah.
So, but black women tell they daughters, save it, covet it, don't give it. That's how you're gonna get a husband. Girl, that's why the divorce rate's so high. If you look at the divorce rate between white women and black women, which one is higher?
Black women.
Right. Because black women have been taught the wrong thing. Has nothing to do with that. Have white women train their daughters how to
Be submissive.
be it's not even about the submission. It's about here's what your role is in this situation. Your role is to get up every morning, beat that face, stand by him while he goes out here and be a doctor, a lawyer, or whatever. And you go make sure you go ahead and with it. I guarantee you, if you look at most white marriages, that woman done had a baby within that first year of marriage. They secure the bag quickly
I know I
because this
have
is how
a
they are taught. They are taught. You marry him, you have a baby quickly because that's what's going to lock in everything you need if it goes wrong, and be whatever he needs you to be. You can do whatever you want to do, but you be the good wife. You cook, you clean, you do what you want, whatever. Black women, especially black women who are raised by single mothers, are getting the crappy end of the stick. And that's why you can't have successful relationships, because black women who are raised by single mothers who are telling them, you don't need no man, you don't need it. Girl, you setting your daughter up for failure. Her to be alone
Agree.
for the rest of her life because you're not teaching her what you're supposed to be able to do both. You're supposed to be able to flip that switch. You're supposed to be able to be a boss in your own right, but you need to still make sure that man feels like he's a man when he come home.
100%.
And if you don't know how to do that because all your mama taught you was be strong, be strong, be strong, be strong, you don't need no man, girl, that's why you single. And that's why you bitter.
And
And that's the thing, as a black woman, I had to let go of, because my mom was that type of woman and she wasn't even single most of my life. You get what I'm saying? But that's still what she tried to instill in me. And it's like, no, boo, I need a man. I don't know where you coming from. I need a man.
Me too.
I don't want to be out here working on my car. I do it. I do it because I
24
gotta
hours
do
a
it,
day.
but I don't want to
Thank
do
you.
it.
I'm a boss 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Got a staff. When I walk through the door, baby, don't ask me nothing. Tell me, hey, I want chicken. Okay. Oh, we going out to eat. Okay. I don't want to make not a narrative decision.
Right. And I think most men don't realize that women want to be led. Like, yes, I'm a strong woman. Yes, I have a strong opinion. But now I have a strong personality, but I want to be led. I want to know that if you're going to be my man in my life, I need to know that you can handle these finances. I need to know that you can plan a date. I need to know that you can pay some bills. I need to know, I want to trust you in that way. I want you to lead me, but I got to know where you're leading me.
I saw something on Instagram today, and it said if a man leads properly, I will submit nastily. I mean naturally. And
Naturally is the word. Both.
You said naturally?
Naturally and naturally.
Oh my God.
And naturally. But both of those are true.
And the reason that both of those are true is what Jerica said. We want to be late. We want you to be the man. Because if you're doing that, I'm gonna give you whatever you want.
Right. There's
Naturally.
nothing you can't ask me for if you're showing me that you can lead in my life when I have been the driver and I've been in the driver's seat of my own life, and you can come in and show me that you can take that driver's seat and lead me, baby, properly. Baby, I will be your passenger princess anywhere you want to go. Okay?
What I always tell people is I have to be superwoman 18 hours out of the day. When
Okay,
I come home, I want to be Lois Lane. I don't want to be superwoman in my house.
not to be
I want
funny,
to be
ladies. I
Lois
haven't heard
Lane.
this since I left Germany and Italy. I've not heard this type of conversation, and it's actually I'm amazed because what y'all are saying over there in Europe, they treat men like kings. When I came back to the States from the military, I was like, wow, it was a shocker. But to hear that you ladies speaking like this is, I'm like, honestly, I'm impressed, and I'm like, wow. I mean, even from, like I said, from the tipping thing, but
Not
you're
the tipping
absolutely.
thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it works. I need to get cheaper anyway. But the thing about it is, and the thing was, me being black, and I was like, didn't want to cross over to the white side. And, everybody like, when in the military, like, man, man, black girls over here, but these white girls, like you say, they teach them how to pleasure their man. They
But
are
this is why they ask the question, why do successful black men have white women? That's the reason. Because these white women have been, remember on Coming to America where she was trained to be his wife? These white women are trained to cater to the ego, cater to the masculinity, cater to the all of that of a man. So when a man gets some money, let me say something. A
he's
broke
naturally
man,
going to go. Yeah, he's naturally going to
let me
go
say
there.
something. A broke man probably gonna be with whoever, right? You gonna get who you can. But a
Mm,
black man that knows he can have the pick of the litter, you gonna have to make sure he knows he's the man. And a lot of black women, unfortunately, fall short in that area. Then they get mad when he has a white woman. She's doing what you want.
correct.
It's just that simple. It's that simple. And that's why they are married to these white women for years and years and years and years. Because what white mothers teach their daughter is the long game, baby. They don't teach no short game. It's the long game. I don't care if he cheat. I don't care if he do. None of that matters. Secure the bag. The prenup is
100%.
ironclad. So when he do cheat, if you feel like leaving, you good. It's the
100%.
programming. It's the programming. We have been programmed to do certain things, and unless you unlearn that programming, it's always going to be a problem.
Wow, I'm impressed.
I'm
Speechless.
impressed.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
I didn't grow up like that. I didn't grow up. I grew up. I'm a military brat, so like it's a little different. You know what I'm saying? Like my mom didn't work. She was a stay-at-home mom. My dad was in the military. So if you watch the Cosby Show, that was my life. Like I tell people all the time. Like I had good times I thought was a fairy tale. Like I thought nobody really lives like this. Like this is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. But the Cosby Show, I was like, oh, this is us every day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I saw my mom make sure that my dad was taken care of. I saw my dad bring my mama flowers every Friday, right? I saw my dad make sure his family went out to dinner for a family meal outside of the house every payday. We ate together every night. I saw but on the flip side of that, my dad didn't raise no punk girls. Like my dad would be like, hey, stop that damn crying. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I got both. So I know how to conduct myself in a man's world because that's where we live. Like it or not, it is a man's world. White men run this world. So I know how to conduct myself in that masculine energy when I'm out in the world because I have to. But then when I come home, I tap into what I saw my mom do, which is be my dad's wife, period. And a lot of women, unfortunately, don't get that. They don't, they get that one thing. You don't need no man. Your daddy ain't wasn't nothing. So you don't need no man. Do it yourself. And then you find yourself at 30, like, I'm lonely. I want a man, but you don't know how to handle one.
Everything is too much about you. Cause that's what you've been taught. Like my
That's
life
what you
started
do.
as good times. I ain't gonna lie. It started as good times. But when my mom married my stepdad, it became the Cosby Show. You get what I'm saying? It
Absolutely.
became me understanding what it meant. And my mom wasn't always happy. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of her marriage, she found out that he had been cheating on her for the last 10 years of their 15-year marriage. And the lady that he was cheating on her with, he had then moved to Atlanta up the street from her, bought her a house and everything. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And as devastating as that was for her, it taught me a lesson that you can, you can give of yourself. You can be that great woman. But if you're giving it to somebody who doesn't appreciate it from you, that's where you're going wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, find somebody that really appreciates what you give, what you provide to them, how you multiply what they put in your hands, because that's how you're going to get the best outcome.
Well, and I think also, again, with the programming is women should be put on a pedestal. The vagina is just this all, you know, omnipresent thing and put women on a pedestal. And this, then, man, bye. Stop doing that. Like, it's not that serious. And people put a lot of energy and a lot of weight on stuff that it don't need to be put on. If this man takes care of you, takes care of your house, he is a good man, he does everything that he's supposed to do, you about to leave because he put his penis in another vagina? I don't care about that. Is this mortgage paid? Thank you. I don't care what you do out there. That ain't got nothing to do with me. They got nothing to do with me.
Oh, you're
So,
more on the security.
oh, absolutely. I don't care what you do with your kids.
In an instance, you have to be, because people are going to be people.
That's
People are
right,
going to
because
do what they want to do.
monogamy is not normal. We're not men nor women. And let me say something. Women are better cheaters. Let's just be very clear about that. The reason why you don't see women out here on cheaters and snaps and whatever
Women
the
are the
fuck.
only cheaters because black men don't cheat.
Boy, bye. So, but women just are better at it because you know why? We're programmed to be better at it. We're programmed to be methodical. We're programmed to not change our
Discreet.
schedule. We're programmed. That's right.
Right.
We're programmed like that. That's why you'll never know. That your wife gonna get up every morning. She gonna put her clothes on. She gonna take them children to the school. She gonna act like she going to work. She probably gonna go to work for a little bit, but she gonna leave on her lunch break, have her bag under her desk that you don't even know is under there. She gonna wash up, come back, and still gonna come home and cook your dinner and put your children to bed, and she done had sex with a whole man. And still gonna give you something that night. You ain't gonna never know.
Yep.
I wouldn't care.
But a man is different. Well, and that's what a lot of men say they wouldn't care. But see, here's where that program
Well,
comes
Nakia
from.
said,
That's a lie. That's a lie.
Nakia said,
The programs come
because women wear so many hats, cheating is an easy one to add on.
You can fit that in your schedule very easy, Nikki. I agree with you. Let me say something. It don't take that long. You only need about 30 minutes to an hour. I mean,
You don't need that
depending on
long.
your lunch break.
30 minutes.
You don't even need that long,
Who's
right?
working that
You can
long?
do that. You can do that in the back seat of the car. You can do wherever. It don't even matter, right? It don't matter. So, but again, the programming for men is how dare, because again, this pedestal how dare she do that to me? She ain't do that to you. She did that for her.
And if you call her in the middle of the act, she's going to make him answer your
She
call.
gonna answer.
She's going to answer that call, and then she's going to go back to what she's doing after she satisfies that call.
And you know what? Ain't gonna go back because you ain't even got to stop. You ain't even got to miss a stroke, and I'ma still act like I ain't doing
Well, no, that's why I can't get married right there.
So, I mean,
Tawana,
it just is what it is.
Tawana and Liz. I want to say welcome, Tawana.
Wow.
Say, tell everyone hello, please, ma'am. We can't hear you, Tawana. One of those the mic check. That's funny though. Nikia, the women wear so many hats. Cheating is an easy
And
one to
men
wear.
change up. The moment a man cheats, he changes something.
Everything. He want to start putting on new
Like
cologne and
he
going
said
to the gym. Oh, I got to work
exactly.
late. Like, you
But
know
see,
what? Them is the telltale.
They
We
see,
start
ain't
doing
listen,
things
that
that
y'all
they
are so
want
wrong. Y'all are wrong. Listen, y'all are wrong.
no, we're
Because
not.
when I was married, a long time ago, I cheated once on my wife. I kept my schedule the same. So I told a chick, if you want to see me, you better catch me during my gym hours because I'm not changing my schedule. I keep
So
it,
you
Okay,
were a smart
that
one.
was one time then.
keep
That
it,
don't count.
yeah,
Right.
it only happened one time.
But most
Let's be
times
very
men will
clear. It's
change.
not gonna be one time though. Let's be
Hey,
very clear about
hey,
that. It's not happening one time.
for,
Got a question.
for the
I
show
got a
purposes, it happened one time.
Go ahead,
got a
Liz.
question. Quick
Yes,
question. Quick question. So
yes.
y'all done given it the conversation. Excuse me. So who does marriage benefit then? If nobody's
Nobody. The
monogamous.
woman,
Nobody.
the woman,
Nobody.
Okay,
No.
all
the
right.
It
woman,
benefits
Want to see
nobody.
if we were all
the
on the
woman.
same page.
No.
Cause
If
I'm
it
like, so what's the
marriage
point
was
of
created
marriage, modern day
with
marriage then?
nothing. It was marriage was
Yeah.
created for finances.
Benefits the children.
Marriage was created. Nope. Marriage was created
They
in
came.
the sense that we
Yeah, the children
the
will benefit.
Hold on. I want to hear from Tawana. We hadn't heard from her. Is she
No,
there?
you want to hear from the men.
Tawana,
You can't,
Tawana.
No, I want to hear from Tawana. I
no, you
haven't
came
heard
in
from
here from the men.
I think Tawana is having mic issues.
After I hear
She
from
was trying to
Tawana.
speak.
Sure.
marriage
After I hear from Tawana.
marriage was created for financial benefit. So that that's why if you really pay attention to marriage is a contract. It is a legally binding contract. Just like you sign for your car, your house, it is the same thing. You're being bought and sold when you sign your name on that marriage license. And what do? They give you a tax break. They do this, they do that. There is no marriage was not established for love and all this craziness that we make it out to be now. It was about money. It was about making sure that money was linked together and giving people who were willing to do that some sort of benefit. The modern day thing is to put love into it. But when it was established a long time ago, when they first started doing marriage licenses and all that stuff, it had nothing to do with whether or not I love you. That's like a recent thing. But marriage really doesn't benefit anybody because I can still be your beneficiary and cash in on your life insurance policy without being your wife. I can still have a joint bank account with you and we pay bills together without being your wife.
100%.
So what is the real benefit? There is none because guess what's going to happen? 9 times out of 10, one or both of us are still going to cheat because we're not going to be honest. It's all built on a lie. You stand up there and you read these man-made vows that are in a little book and claim that you're doing it in front of God and whatever. And there's nothing religious about it. The marriage vows ain't even in the Bible. It's a man-made thing. And then we do it out of ritual and we lie. We stand up there and say we're going to forsake all others. And a week later, you bent over somebody's son bed because you didn't mean that. It sounded good because you thought that's what you were supposed to do was get married. Because that's what we are programmed to think that
So you saying
marriage
all women
has
cheat?
to be all women cheat and all men cheat, all humans, all people cheat.
Mm.
And I don't care how you cheat because you can cheat financially, you can cheat emotionally, you can cheat physically, and you can cheat sexually, but you done one.
Right. 100%.
So to say that you have never cheated just because you've never had somebody insert their penis into your vagina doesn't mean you don't cheat. Because while you skinning and grinning with your work husband, you cheating, boo boo.
Mm. Interesting perspective.
I'm quite. It went from vulnerability to now everybody.
No, listen, I want to go back to that. I want
Right,
to go
but
back to
even
that.
going back to
So,
vulnerability, right?
yeah.
Even going
So,
back to that and being able to say, like, I know it's weird to say, like, yeah, I've been celibate for 3 years now. You know what I'm saying?
You
But
stop telling
that
people that.
doesn't mean, listen, but I mean, but still, even so, it doesn't mean if I meet, like Tavonna say, Joe Blow, if I meet Joe Blow tomorrow and his vibe is right and I'm like, I'm kicking it with him and I feel like, Well, this is what I'm about to do. This is what I'm about to do. I don't care how long it's been. I don't care how long it's been. I really don't. But most of what I've done was just in an attempt to really get to know who I was. So I separated myself from everybody, and that meant sexually too, right?
Throwing the
I
3
just
years out the
haven't
window,
had
Bob.
the opportunity to meet anybody that vibed with me in a way that made me want to spread my legs. But will it happen on the first date? If the vibe is that good and the night is going in that direction and it happens, then it's gonna happen. And I'm not gonna feel no type of way about it.
I don't want to be the square or the Debbie Downer. The only reason I
Why you gotta use Debbie, Lizzie? Why you gotta say
no pun intended.
I was like,
No pun
I thought
intended.
it was.
No pun intended. But we are living in a different time now. And I'm a healthcare provider. And not just physical health, but mental health issues are running rampant. Before I get to a place where I'm going to give that part of myself to someone, I'm going to need to know a little bit more about you, as much as I think that I can. You don't know everything about everybody. So before everybody throw that, you don't know everybody, everything, we know all that. But I think I know more about you on day 30 than day 1. Hopefully.
I don't need to know nothing about you. I need to know what that mouth do. I ain't got time to know about your favorite.
And that mouth got herpes, and that mouth got hepatitis B.
Gas.
No, that mouth got HPV, because you know you
man. Well, I'm here.
throat. And that was so yeah, that mouth
no,
but I'm sure that mouth ain't doing it with no condom on. So you go ahead and do you. I'll pray for you.
Listen,
I'll pray for you. God bless you.
Listen,
God bless you.
We live in a very digital time. Let me pull up that whole fact. Let me see your whole fact.
Niggas don't go to the doctor.
No. Well, no. Let me be very. Hold on. Let me be very clear. Lizzie, let me be very clear. I say what I say, but there's stipulations to it. Don't get me wrong, right? Like, it's not just, yeah. Nah, it can definitely happen on night 1. However, there are some things that, yes, I do need to know. I don't need to know your whole life story. I'm not going to get pregnant, so I don't really need to know about all of that. You're not going to know where I live. You're probably not even going to have my phone number. You're probably not even going to know my last name. We ain't even getting into all of that. But if my mission when I left the house was to that's all. That's all.
So I don't want like somebody you met at the bar. That's what you meant, right? Okay. I'm just all right. I got you. You met at the bar, got drunk, boom. I got you.
Because every time I step out,
because that nigga like kill me in my sleep. No, thank you.
No.
Girl, you stay long enough to sleep.
They killing passport. They killing passport, bro.
No.
Who's staying long?
They killing passport bros over in Colombia for doing the same thing. But go ahead, girl.
We're not sleeping, baby. No.
Let me tell you something.
And it will
Hold on, Savannah. Let me tell you something. Hold on, Savannah. Hold on 1 second. Let me tell you something. My stomach is on a clock, right? At 6 o'clock between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m., I gotta go boo-boo. So I'm not spending the night with you. I'm not sleeping with you because I'm going home because I know at 5 to 6 o'clock in the morning, my stomach gonna be going and I'm gonna get up and use the bathroom and I'm not doing that at your house. Man, what you saying?
You probably safe. I'm not coming to your house and you're not coming to mine. So it's gonna be
You're probably safe.
It's gonna be a neutral location, and ain't nobody going to sleep. Cause
Who else said they got a boo boo at 6 in the morning?
Yeah.
Super does. And when I tell you it's clockwork every morning, it's like clockwork every morning. I refuse to spend the night at a guy's house. I refuse to let a guy spend the night at my house. If you happen to get that far to come over here, you can't spend the night because at 6
How about they put you to sleep?
My bathroom is in my bedroom. Hold on, my bathroom is in my bedroom, right? And because I gotta go use this restroom at 5 in the morning, you can't be there because who's gonna I don't feel like taking a shower at 5 in the morning after I take this boo-boo just to go lay back down for another hour or two.
I do.
Being vulnerable,
though. Listen,
I thought we're having vulnerability.
If I got company, I get up in the morning because I go regular too. I do that, hop in the shower, hop right back in bed.
And sometimes I have, but 9 times out of 10, I'm not staying. Like,
I ain't
not
never saying. So that ain't. I ain't never saying ever. And I'm definitely. I don't know who to sleep.
Oh, well, y'all ain't had it done right if y'all ain't got put
Oh no, that's not true. No. You just have to.
right.
You
I take it real nice and tender or rough,
yeah.
and then I'm gonna go home
But I'm not going to
and sleep
sleep.
like a baby.
Thank you for your services. I'll go home and go to sleep. I'm not.
Right.
I'm not
Sleep
going
like
to
a
sleep with
baby.
you. No, I'm going home and go to sleep. But I'm
I
not.
like Savannah. I like paying customers.
Hey,
wow.
transactional analysis. I'm telling you, it's the thing. You gotta love them.
And here's the thing. Sometimes as a woman, I think I don't know about you, Savannah, but it's like we do stuff like that because it's a shock value because women don't normally do it. Like men don't expect
Exactly.
it. They don't think that you're gonna do it. So yeah, I'ma slide out of your bed. I'ma slide that money on the table and then I'ma
Now you ain't got to do that. Send me that
slide
cash
out
out.
that door.
Let that cash out ring on your way out.
Well, and
I
what
think you cash
you're
out
saying,
too.
what you were saying is so funny because I have again, I feel like if we let's just say we mutually decide, hey, we're gonna meet at the bar for drinks, right? No, it's not really a date. We just meeting at the bar for drinks, right? You get some drinks. You done had 2, 3 drinks a piece. The bill time to come. I'ma grab it.
I understand that. I'm just saying,
A hundred
I'm
percent.
not going to
Yeah.
be the random stranger at the bar, though. Well, I never
I'm
say never because as soon as you can say never, you will. But that's
Right.
not
I'm
what I'm talking
45.
about.
I'm 45. It done definitely been some random strangers at the bar, and I'm okay with that. However, in my 20s, 30s, it definitely was some random strangers at the bar. But what I'm saying is that shock value, and I've had men be like, "What? No, I don't need you. I don't just like you don't need me to pay, baby. I don't need you to pay either." Let's be very clear about that. So I got it. Put your little money back in your wallet. I got it.
Right. Go
Little
get your
money.
haircut tomorrow. So you save some money tonight. You
Yeah,
know what
you
I'm saying?
save
You
some
met a
money
real
tonight.
one.
It's all
You met a real one.
I got student
I'll
loans.
be in
I got
Columbia
student
this
loans.
week.
I ain't paying no nigga, no Negroes drink. I would buy
I
her
am.
food, but I'm saying I don't drink, so it don't matter. But I'm keeping my money in my pocket. Yeah, I ain't
Nah,
doing.
because for me, I'm not a money girl. I mean, I don't care about money.
I
Money
like
is
my
not
money,
important
but
to
I
me.
don't care about spending money.
Right, me either. And because what I'm very aware of, you need to be concerned about is my time. If I'm here with you, I'm giving you my time. So I don't care nothing
And that's
about
the
this.
most expensive thing.
That's right. That's the most, this little $50, $60 that I done spent on a couple of drinks. I don't care nothing about that because I'm going to get that back probably before I even leave here because my phone going to ding about 3 times with about 4 or 5 orders. So I don't care nothing about this little money that I just spent. But the fact that I have spent 3 hours of my time that I can't get back here with you and you have made me laugh and we've had a good time. Oh yeah. I'll pay for the drink. No
100%.
problem. No
Nah,
problem.
I ain't paying for the drinks. But I see where you're
And
coming
I
from.
understand that, Lizzie. And some women are like that. Some women are
But I
like,
see
I
where you're
would
coming from,
never.
and I don't you fought you for that, girl. Maybe if I drank, I would, but that's something I can't
Go
relate
ahead and
to because I
trash
don't
that.
drink.
You
But
trash.
not even drink. Like I paid for dinner. It doesn't matter wherever we going.
My thing is, this is how I look at it. If I ask you out, if I call you and I say, listen, I want to go out to dinner tonight, like you coming, you know what I'm saying? Would you like to
Right.
go with me?
I'm gonna pay.
In my mind, I invited you out, so
That's
I'm
right.
paying for that dinner. You get what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? I didn't
Now
invite
that
you out
I
for you
get,
to pay for my dinner.
that
Right.
I get. But on the flip side of that, it's back to kind of what Coach Sean was talking about and how I was kind of raised. I was kind of raised, and it's archaic. I admit, I don't mind paying, and I have. But I was raised as a woman. The man, if he is interested in you, should be the one pursuing. And your value, like Coach Sean said, is dependent upon what he thinks you're worth. Unfortunately, and everything's relative. Unfortunately, in the situations that I have been in, a lot of the men that I run into, because of how I was raised, weren't raised in the same, I guess, financial bracket. So the money was always an issue. It was always an issue. At the end of the day, it always ended up being an issue. Because although they may say, I don't mind her paying for it, this and the third, it always became an issue at the end because he felt that I thought I was better than because they couldn't afford what I could afford or they couldn't pay for, you see what I'm saying? So, and again, things are relative. That's just what I have been, what my experiences have been. Therefore, because of what I have lived through, I will no longer accept being the person that initiates paying most of the time. I will sometimes, I will not most of the time anymore. So that's just me.
Yeah, and again, I think it definitely depends on your situational, you know what I'm saying, things like you were saying, and it just has never been a thing to me. I don't care who pay. Like, and my dad told me when I was 17, don't ever deal with no man who don't have as much or more than you. So I ain't never had that issue. Cause if we both going, we ain't neither one of us fighting our fingers thinking we gonna have to wash the dishes in the back. You know what I'm saying? Like we both got it. Like it ain't even a thing. You know what I'm saying? Cause I'm not going nowhere with you if no, like if I'm at wherever I am, it's because I can afford to be here by myself without you. I can afford to be here. So I don't need you to pay for me. I don't need you to finance me. I don't need you to do any of that. For me, a man, you only really, I mean, I need you to do a few things, but finance is not one of them.
So the guys, how do you feel about that? Like, how do y'all feel about, a woman paying or, her making more money than you? Like, I want your perspective on it.
Okay, well, I don't mind. Well, my deceased wife, she made way more than I did, but I was still a man. We went, she paid one time, I would pay. So, I mean, of course, my salary cap was nowhere near hers because she was a doctor and I was just a chef. But I don't mind. I mean, personally, but my only thing about it is when it comes down to finances, when you ask a woman, well, how are you good with managing your money? You get the obscure person. You don't get the transparent person. Because they're like, oh yeah, I'm good. Yeah, you wearing red bottoms, but your light's about to be turned off, or you're everything you have tens of thousands of dollars in credit card debt, trying to keep up the facade. That again, if you can actually maintain it, or you actually say, yeah, we can go Dutch or we can go whatever, that'd be cool. But my thing about it, I have no qualms with it at all.
For me,
Baby, I drive a Buick.
just the thought of is enough for me.
You should say I drive a Buick.
I didn't stutter. Baby, I drive a Buick. I shop at Walmart, Costco, all of that. I mean, but I drive a 2004 Buick. Okay, let's be clear. I drive an old school Buick.
I'm
And can
not
I
saying it has
afford a
never
new car?
happened,
Yes. But do I want a new car? No, because I like to manage my finances in a way to where when I'm ready to take a trip, I can take a trip.
Yeah, you
When
have
I'm
different
ready to
priorities.
go and travel, I can go do that because I don't have my overhead of bills is not a lot because I'm a very simple person in my life. But I could put some stuff on to make me look like I am a millionaire. Yeah, I could put some stuff on.
Mm.
But
Well,
it's not gonna be no red bottoms.
Tank, you want to go, Tank? How do you feel about a woman treating or paying for you? Tank may have taken a break. I don't know I know in the past, maybe 15 to 20 years, I cannot think of an instant where a woman has paid for something for me, but just offering to do it is more than enough for me. But just the way I was raised, it's like that's the man's responsibility, and I don't have a problem with doing it. And if I find myself in a situation where I have to have someone, like I need her to pay, I don't need to be going out to eat. I need to be baking a do with some peanut butter in the house, some ramen noodles or something else. And I like to treat others, men or women. I just love to treat others. So when I go out to eat, and Leo knows, we'll wrestle each other, or I'll meet the server in the back, like I'm going to the bathroom just to pay for the food.
Yeah, we got a bad habit at that, don't we?
of doing that for each other. But
Yeah,
that's just how I was brought up. But like I said, if a woman even offers to pay, that's more than enough for me.
that's more than enough. Correct.
But I would prefer if someone said, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to cook something," and it doesn't have to be like, "Oh, I'm not slaving in the kitchen over for a man." No, something simple. If you like to bake chicken, you can put something in a crock pot, some easy baked cookies, whatever. That carries more value than paying for a meal, because you're paying for the meal because you can afford it. But preparing something for me tells me that I have value. I have value to you. You know, you kind of made a sacrifice to do this. The paying for
You
dinner is
thought
not
of
a
me.
sacrifice if you got the money to do it. That's not a sacrifice. That's just
Like
throwing change.
I've done things like I'm a sneakerhead, right? I'm a tomboy at heart. Though yes, I can put on some heels and a dress and dress it up. I don't like to,
Deborah,
right? A
Deborah,
sneakerhead.
you gonna make me marry you. Once again, showing
Wow.
out.
Hey, look,
Wow.
I'm a sneakerhead. So if I don't put on if I go to the listen, if I'm dating you and I go to the mall and I buy me a pair of sneakers, I'm probably coming home with a pair of sneakers for you too.
Damn, by way of
Because
14.
I'm not gonna go spend money on myself and not spend money on you if
Damn, by
you
way of
are
14.
my man.
They
The same
take
way
place
if
under the
you
14 there.
sneakers, I better have a pair of sneakers when you come home. That's my love language.
And that right there, I love that. You know, I like Cole. You know what I'm saying? If you look at something, you be like, look here, I want to see my man in this, and you put that on. See, like me, if I see something for a lady, I be like, listen, I know she a size 6. I know she's about a size 16 or so, and I see something, I pick it up, boom. This is what I want you on. I see, smell of perfume. You know what I'm saying? That's what, you know what I'm saying? So, unlike my friend who, like we said, we wrestle for the check and whatnot. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? But if you see something that you want me to wear or some cologne or something, you know what I'm saying? I'll love that, you know, because you're pouring back into me. And I think I've
Plan,
been,
I'm gonna make sure it's your style. I'm not gonna go get nothing that I just want to see you in. I'm gonna go get something that I know you're gonna want to see yourself in. You get what I'm saying? I'm
oh
gonna
yeah,
go
I
get
get
something
that.
that I know is your style that you're not gonna have a problem with wearing. When I get home, you're not gonna be like, "What is this? I don't wear this." Like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna make sure that what I get is gonna be something that you want to wear. I don't want it to match because I'm not one of those type of people. I don't need you to be cramping on my style, right? So I don't want to match you per
Wow.
se. But I'm gonna make sure that whatever I get for you is your style, your speed, and you're gonna love it and you're gonna want to wear it, which is gonna then in turn make me feel good because I know that I chose something that made him feel good and makes him look good when he's
And you
standing
pour back
beside
into
me.
him. Yeah,
Right.
right. Yes. I love that. I don't know the rest of the panel, but I feel in that.
But most women are taught to be selfish. They've been taught that
They
you're the
are.
prize. They're the prize. Let me tell you something. I don't play that. Like my man is the prize. Like I'm the prize and he's the prize. We're both the prize.
We're
Like
both
I feel
surprised.
like that's right. We're both the prize because I feel like you should be pampered and spoiled and you know what I'm saying. Just like what you do for me. Like
Right.
I will send my man some flowers. I will send my man like I would whatever. Like I'm doing all like it don't.
And like, I don't like feet, but I'm paying for our pedicures. Let's go get a
There
pedicure,
you go.
baby. But I don't like feet.
Couples
I'm not gonna
massage
touch
you.
your feet. I don't care what the cause. I'm not touching your feet like to the death of me. But I will pay for you a pedicure so that I know that when we in bed, them feet is gonna be on point, and I ain't gotta worry about my legs being cut up in the morning. I ain't gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna do that for you.
Understand what your man likes. Like I'm a football fan. Like football season, I'm like a dude. Like play with
Me
somebody
too.
else. We watching the game. Like I'm like we're not.
Me too.
Don't talk
Wait,
to me at 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, or 8 o'clock. I'm not playing with you. Like we're not doing that.
we have unicorns. We have unicorns. With the those are these
100%.
aren't real women. These are
No.
unicorns.
And I don't watch basketball though, because I can't stand
Yeah, I don't
sneaking
do
in the
the
sneakers on the
NBA.
floor.
I don't like NBA basketball,
Put
but I
them.
do like college.
Yeah, the
College
sneakers on the
basketball.
floor, it drives me insane. It's like nails on the chalkboard. And I can't listen to that. So I don't like basketball. But football, all day, babe.
But I
We there.
feel like your man should know he is valuable to you, right? And other people around him should also know that he's valuable to you. Like the dude that I was dating, he's a 49ers fan. So the 49ers had a game, and I was like, you know what? He was all talking about this darn game all day. Oh, the game, the game. I'm like, all right, he really hyped about this game. So I sent a dozen roses to his job, 6
Wow.
yellow, 6 red. And the card said, good luck on the game tonight. Enjoy the game. So he called, he was like, are you kidding me? Did you Yeah. Because everybody was like, oh my God. Like, because again, I guess this is something that most women don't do,
Don't
which
do.
is, I think,
That's
is
why I said you're
weird.
a unicorn.
Like,
Y'all have
because
horns growing out of your head.
at the end of the day, you are going to know that if you are with me, you are valuable. You are not in my life to just make sure that I'm okay. We are a team. We are a partnership. You are going to do for me. I'm going to do for you. This is going to be even swaps over here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I
So
think
let me
that's
ask this
where
quick question. Let me ask this question. So how do we find the balance then? When you tell a young lady you just said that you yourself are a prize, correct? I'm a prize. I'm valuable. Yeah. So how do you teach a young woman and man or young man that they are valuable and they're the prize, but then at the same time tell them don't do all this for them, or I don't know how to explain what I'm saying.
I would never tell
I
my
would
kids.
never
So
say don't do
I would
that.
never, my kids don't do that. Because I tell my son all the time, hey, and I check in with my son. Like when he's dating and he had a little girlfriend and it was Valentine's Day or birthday or Christmas or whatever, hey, that little girl, and what you told her you want. You see what I'm saying?
Right. What
Because
did
at
she
the end
get
of the
you?
day, what did she get you? My son came in here the other night for when he went to his little friend house after Christmas. They went and made gingerbread houses. He loves to put together Legos. He came back in here. She bought me a Lego, my girl, because he bought her charms for her Pandora bracelet. We ain't doing we do reciprocation over here, baby. We do partnerships over here. We don't
And
do
you have to
one is
teach
more than the other.
reciprocation.
And that's right. So my son knows that you are the prize as well. You're not about to be out here spending all your money on some chick if she ain't doing nothing for you. And her stuff ain't the prize. So she don't get to think that just because she's giving you some, that's the prize. That ain't it.
So to the guys, what do you teach your girls versus what do you teach your boys?
Wow. Okay.
I teach mine the same
Yeah,
thing.
good one.
No, the guys. I
Let's
just want to hear
go.
from the
Yeah,
guys.
yeah,
I just
yeah,
want to hear from the
okay.
guys.
So for my son, I let him chivalry. I let him know that, you know what I'm saying, open up doors, pull out the chairs, treat a lady like a lady. For my daughters, I said, don't get no one who's less than me. So, like I can take care of you. I can provide for you. I protect you. So, and you need to also pour back into your man. I'm one of give and take, reciprocation. And what happened is most men, especially black men, we die early because we're feeling like, what I'm saying, we're just ATM or, shut up and just pay for everything. But when you get a woman like like the young woman on this panel here, you're like, yeah, I will pour back into my man. Yeah, I will. That right there, that's where longevity comes in it because we're not feeling like, okay, our task is just to keep on just being the breadwinner or whatnot and keep on doing. And when we're empty, no one pours back into us. So far as me, that's what I tell my daughter. That's what I tell my son. Don't do anything that she would not do for you, and then vice versa.
Thank.
Yeah. And as a woman raising a young man and that being my only child, like I let him know, like I teach it, I pour into him so that he knows what it feels like to be poured into. You get what I'm saying? Because I want him to understand that and I want him to look for that when he starts dating. You can pour into a woman all you want, but if she doesn't pour back into you, then you're going to be depleted.
Correct. It's like a graveyard.
Exactly. That's right. You have
So
to,
for
and
me,
again, that's that defective programming that society. Oh, the man got to do that. First of all, that's why you getting cheated on. Like they gonna probably cheat anyway, but you definitely gonna get cheated on if all you doing is take.
Yeah, because he's seeking what he's lacking.
Exactly.
So
And women always like, well, how can he cheat with her? It don't matter what she look like. It matter how
exactly.
she's treating him. It's because she's listening to him. When he say, oh, I like Deborah said, oh, he just mentions in random conversation, oh yeah, I gotta go get my hair cut on Friday at 2:00. At 1:30, his cash app dinging, here you go, baby, for your haircut.
There you go.
That's why you're getting cheated on. Because you don't do that.
Right.
Because you're
There
not
you
taking
go.
care of him. Because
Is Tank still here?
today,
Yes.
I don't know if he's, oh, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, son.
Question. I want to hear his answer.
Get ready for a laugh, because Tank just don't.
What's the question?
Oh Lord. So what do you teach your daughters versus your sons as far as, I guess, when it comes to dating and
their
pursuing a
value.
significant other?
I look at all the little Negroes like they're a piece of you know what until he prove me otherwise. I
Correct.
really do. I
No,
ain't got home welcome to the
but what
father
do
when
you
it
tell
comes to
your
my
daughter
girl.
though? What do you
Huh?
teach your daughters? What do you say to her? What are you telling her? How are you telling her to present herself in order to get a husband? Or if that's what you're doing at all. I don't know. I'm just asking.
Present yourself like a woman. Don't be out here just messing with all these different dudes and just protect yourself. Not like sexually, but protect yourself as a whole. Don't just give yourself to anybody. So,
But are you teaching him how a woman should pour into him? Like, are you showing him what you like as a man, right? And
so my boy, I tell him,
that a
listen,
woman should be able to pour into him the same way that you're teaching him how to pour into her and like big her up. Are you teaching him that that's also something that he should be receiving?
yeah, they have to be ambitious. If they don't have goals and aspirations, you might as well move on. Like my son now, he has a girlfriend. Well, they have a child together now. Say, you getting back in school? If that ain't what the path she's on or trying to better herself, you can be a father to your child and not be with her if she has no aspirations in life. If she just want to be a mother to your child, let her be that and you go on about yourself and take care of what you need to take care of.
and
Right, but that can look actually very different.
Huh?
Because what if she's wanting to support him while he goes through his transition through school, right? And she has her own dreams and aspirations, but she's willing to put that on hold to get him where he needs to be so that, for the betterment of the family. And then once he gets where he needs to be, all right, now, babe, right? Now I want to do this because I want to bring this type of, creativity to our life. And I want to bring this type of income into our family. You get what I'm saying?
Let's do
Now
this
can
together.
you help me? Now can you pour into me while I do this since you've already established yourself?
Let's do this together. We 19. Let's go ahead and do it right now. Let's do it together.
I get that, but sometimes if you already put a child in the mix, baby, that's not always feasible when there's a child in the mix. But it just depends. Yeah, it depends on what type of support system you have for that child.
But I think you also have to be very careful, like Lizzie kind of said it. But I don't teach my children the marriage to be the ultimate goal in your relationship. That's not that don't have, if that's what you want, that's fine. But we have been once again programmed that marriage is the pinnacle of relationship. And it's really not, because you have people who are married that are miserable. So
Correct.
Most people are.
you just thought that you had to get married. No, because somebody programmed you to think that that was the pinnacle of all relationships. And then you have people who never get married who have been together 35 years.
And happy.
Happy as hell.
And happy. You see what I'm
Happy.
saying? So,
And
but
committed.
for me, I am very careful of pushing these narratives onto my children. Even with college, when it was time for them, when they were juniors and seniors, I don't care if you go to college or not. That's up to you, because you can make a lot of money and not go to college. You need to figure out what you want to do with your life and what is your goal. If your goal is to make a lot of money and you might not have to go to college to do that. So what do you want to do? I think we have to be very careful sometimes of pushing off these indoctrinated things
Narrative.
onto our children. Yes, because you don't have to go to college to be successful. You don't have to be married to have a good relationship. But so often we push that stuff onto our children, and then our children end up in their 30s and 40s miserable because
They're
they thought they
resentful.
were going to disappoint us if they didn't do these things. Let them choose. Give them options. Let them know that there's another way to go about doing stuff. You don't have to get married.
They all
If my daughter decided she wanted to have a child but didn't want to get married, it's other ways to do that deal. You see what I'm saying? You don't have to do the way that quote unquote society tells you got to do it. Why?
So the old Neanderthal way. Got you.
So give them choices. Because at the end of the day, what worked for us might not work for our kids.
Now I want to
And
back
and
to our original.
sometimes
Go ahead.
what I'm saying, sometimes even people in our generation, we are not living at our best potential because we did things that we were trying to appease our parents, or we were trying to, you know what I'm saying? So we in our 40s now living our lives for us. You see what I'm saying? Because we were so indoctrinated with certain things that we didn't look outside of the box.
And I be salty sometimes about that, Tavana. But sometimes I be salty, like, why wasn't I taught this? Why am I just now learning that this is how I need to be moving in life? Like, for me to have success. Like, why did I have to teach this to myself in order for me to understand it?
And a
Which
lot
is
of times
also
our parents didn't know. Like, they didn't know because their parents didn't know. And you know what I'm saying?
right.
So and I think you know, you have to get to that point in your life where you forgive your parents for their ignorance. You know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't purposeful. But if they could only give you what they know, they could only give you the tools that they had. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes
100%.
those tools weren't enough. Sometimes those tools weren't good enough. You know what I mean? And we have to get to a point in
100%.
our grownness to understand that.
Like, when I put out my YouTube channel, me and my mom fell out for about 4 months. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, me and my mom did not speak for about 4 months because she felt slighted. She felt like I
Put her
did
business
not
out
put
there.
no, that too, right? That too, because she is big on like what people think of her, how people see her, like, and I'm not big on that. I'm like, you get what you get. What you see is what you get. And so, like, she's very big on like this persona that she holds. Yeah, about her image. And I'm not big on that because I'm just like, baby, what I am, what I show you is who I am. Right? So we fell out for like 4 months. And she also felt like I didn't blame my father enough for the effect that, you know, his drug use and his being absent had on my life. And I'm like, listen, I can't, like, he wasn't there. And I alluded, like, I touched on that. I spoke on that, all of it. But you were the present parent in my life. So most of what I got was from you. It wasn't from him. He wasn't present. He wasn't there. You were there. So therefore, when I talk back about my experiences and how I felt back in those moments, you're going to be the one who I have to like reconcile that with because you were there. You were present. And it was your ideologies that you bestowed upon me that made me feel like I had to be a certain type of way, like show up a certain type of way, look a certain type of way. He wasn't doing that to me. He wasn't even there. And it wasn't until we were able to come back together and I was able to really make her understand that and see that we started building our relationship back from there. Like, to this day, she hasn't even past the first episode. She has not viewed my YouTube channel past the first episode to this day.
But it goes back to what Liz was saying. You've gotten over it, but it's traumatic to her. And I wanted to go
And
back
it is.
to what
And
we
it
were
is.
talking
But
about
you gotta
earlier.
hear it. You
Yeah.
gotta hear it though, because this is what you did. So you got to be able to hear it. You got to be able to receive it, but know know with all of my heart there is no judgment behind it, because I now understand that you couldn't give me what you didn't have.
Here's something I want you to consider. When we talk about events and experiences, right? We might think about the actual event, and we might not be aware of the triggers, like the things that happen in addition to. So you're like, okay, dad wasn't there. Let's move on. Let's get past that. But there may have been some other things that she experienced as a result of. She may have lost a vehicle, had to pawn something
Oh no,
because
she
it was.
lost her mother. She lost
So
her mother
there
at a
may have been
young
things
age.
that. No, I'm just saying, as a result of your dad not being there, there may have been other things that she experienced that you aren't aware of. So sometimes when we think about traumatic experiences, we don't know the in addition to part of it. Like someone, hey, oh, my boy, he went to jail. Man, everybody else went to jail, but he may have been sexually assaulted in jail. He may have
Right.
lost a family member, missed a funeral in jail. So his jail experience is not the same as someone else's jail experience. So we cannot dismiss that. That's what I wanted to
Right. But
earlier.
it wasn't until she actually like when I brought this to her and
Hmm.
she then opened up to me and said, "Listen, this is what my childhood was like. Like this is what I experienced, right? Because now you're being vulnerable with me. Now you're giving me insight into why you were the type of parent that you were. Now I can understand where you're coming from and why I got the type of treatment that I got. Now I can release the animosity, the
Right.
resentment. You get what I'm saying? Now I can let all of that go because I know you just were not given the tools to parent me in the way that I really needed to
Right.
be
Right.
parent as a young woman. And I'm
Right.
okay with that. I'm okay with saying, I don't blame you no more, mom. Like it's not a blame thing anymore. It's really now I understand. So now we can build a relationship off of understanding versus judgment and resentment and hatred for what you might have put me through. Like I'm so un unemotional because she wasn't giving emotions, which is why she didn't give us emotional. You get what I'm saying? I've had to
Yes.
learn
Yes.
to be emotional. And having a son taught me how to be emotional. But
I
And
get it.
if I had to go off of just what she taught me, I would have not an emotional bone in my body.
and
I
again,
get
I
it.
guess it goes back to the vulnerability thing that we first was talking about. You know, like a lot of our parents like to keep a facade, and their parents didn't pour into them. And so only thing they're just going by what they were taught or what their learning curve was. So we're looking at it now as a shortfall or a shortcoming because they had the lack of. And so what we do is we just mimic what our parents did. And we resent them later on because we're like, hold up, man, things could have been a lot different. You know what I'm saying? Our relationship could have been a lot closer. But because they were dealing with their own traumas, and they didn't want
Yeah.
to be vulnerable. And you know what I'm saying? So we got that part of them. You wanted to comment on that, Paul? Because
No,
that's
I'm
the yes.
I
saying
think
yes.
that's
I agree.
100%. That's
Yeah, I would say
100%,
yes.
Jeff.
Yeah, I
I feel
agree
you
with what you're saying.
100% on that. Like, that's exactly what it was. And then on top of that, like my mom lost her mom to domestic violence at the age of 17, where she also almost lost her life. So to think about it, like, had she lost her life, I wouldn't even be here. You know what I'm
But yeah,
saying?
but see, she put that back into her mind. I mean, again, with our triggers. You know, she didn't want to tell her daughter, well, hold up. Your grandma died from this abusive, your granddad or her boyfriend or whatnot. And then, you know what I'm saying? So anytime that when she had you, she was more protective of you because of what she actually went through. And now it's putting up this facade. She didn't want to try to make, we want to try to make our kids think we're their superheroes instead of being vulnerable with our kids because we're thinking that may make us less of a man or woman. Now our kids gonna look at us different. So
Right. But she would tell us, here's the bad part though. She would tell us how Granny died, but she wouldn't tell us how she felt in the moment. She wouldn't tell us how she experienced like the trauma. Like that's what we were missing. You get what I'm saying? Like you can tell me all day how it happened, right? But how did that affect you? Because that's what I need to know, how it affected you.
But that generation,
Deborah,
generation wasn't raised that way. They weren't.
well, it's not just a generational thing, Deborah. Grief is a funny thing. I just lost my mother.
Okay.
Grief is
And I'm trying to condolences.
and
Yeah.
so when you lose a parent, grief comes out of nowhere at different times of day. You don't know how long it's going to last. You
Yeah.
don't know what's going to trigger it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm 50 years old, so I can't imagine if this had happened to me at 17.
Right.
So,
Right. I wouldn't know what I would do without my
not
mom right now.
discussing with others about the loss of their parent, because every time I talk about it now, I get upset. So
Right.
I
But
can't
your
help
parent was
nobody.
also my grandparent, right? So there's a connection there that I don't have, but I would really like to
Yeah, but it's not the
understand.
same as
It's
losing
not the
mother.
same. It's not the same. And think of you and your son. It's the same. You and your mother, your connection, her and her mother, and you and your son. The way
Imagine
you
your
feel
son.
about your child
Yeah.
is probably the way her mother felt about her, and hopefully how your mother feels about you. They're different dynamics. So it's
Yeah, they are.
you can't say what she should or shouldn't, or how she should or shouldn't grieve. And I get it. I know you want answers, but
It's something that made me. My mom was like the family historian, and she kept up with everyone. And when you talk about the things that would trigger, this past Christmas, I took my boys home to see, to visit family. And when my sons asked questions, my mom was just a phone call away to say, "Hey, mommy, how is such and such?" And she knew how we were related. He found something positive to say about everybody. And like just something that minute put me in a space where I literally had to go outside in my truck to myself and shed a few tears. So
and it's been a couple of years for him. It's just been months
yeah,
for me. I'm
right.
sick now, and I lived with my mother. And who would have been taking care of me right now? My mother. But I'm here in this big house by myself, stuck in snow, so nobody can come and help me. So it's things like that. That's hard. You
Yeah.
can't do that.
It
And
is.
I know you want to speak to your mom and want to probably hear her perspective, and like you were able to take things and head on. Another thing that to consider, Deborah, as a parent, I never ever let my sons know what I was dealing with at times because dad is Superman to them. And not to lie to them or make a facade, but I know as an individual when, like I said, when my dad was going through his phase, there were a lot of things that I had to avoid. Just talking to girls because I didn't have a telephone number to share. We didn't have a phone at the house. Some days we didn't have electricity. But I knew how confident I became when my father had my back. So I want my guys to share that same confidence in this world, knowing that, hey, whatever I want to do, I can do it. Dad will be there to support me. My dad has my back. So your mom may have held on to a lot of hurt and just didn't want you to go through that. That's a lot for a child to deal with. Imagine how you would feel if you knew your mom was stressed out at work or if she had some things she was dealing with. Now you can't concentrate in school because you're dealing with your own trauma. And as a child, you're going to worry about what your mom is dealing with.
Right. Right.
And this is something I shared with one of my male friends. They joked with me about my oldest son's mom. We clown with each other all the time. We broke up. We had been apart for a couple of years. She was with someone else. They had a child together, whatever. Anyway, he used her car, blew it up. So now she doesn't have any transportation. So every night I would get one of my homeboys to follow me and I would take my car and park it in her mom's yard and put a $50 bill in the ashtray every night. 2, 3 in the morning when I'm done gambling or doing whatever. And if I didn't have anyone that would follow me, I would park in her mom's backyard, sit in the passenger seat, recline the seat, and go to sleep, because I wanted to make sure that she had a way to get to work. I don't care about people calling me names and what they say about it. I did it because I didn't want the mother of my son to struggle. Because if she struggles, how's that going to make my son feel? How can he function?
He's going to struggle as well.
As well,
100%.
emotionally and mentally. So
Yeah.
car meant nothing to me. So if I got to let her drive my car, she's just going to drive the car. I don't care what people say about it. I know
And
what's
I
going on.
agree with that. Because I did the same
I
thing.
agree with that as well. Like, and I agree with that because, like, you know, there's been situations where, you know, my son's dad, he had 3 extra kids outside of my son. My son was our first child together for both of us. And he's had 3 extra kids. And there's like, when my son was living with him, there were times where he would call me, and we don't call each other to ask for anything. Like when Carter's with me, he's with me. I take care of him. I provide for him. I don't ask, you know, his dad for anything. And it's vice versa. But it got to a point after he had those 3 extra kids where he would have all of them, and he would be like, can you send me some money for groceries or things like that? And I would send it. And it wasn't never, I would never ever even fix my mouth to say, is this only for my son? You get what I'm saying? Because
But that's
these
the
are
way
his
it should be.
siblings. Like, these are his brothers and sisters. They're an extension of him. So I'm going to send it and make sure, I'm going to send extra and make sure
Correct.
you get enough food for everybody.
Correct.
And that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be.
Listen, I was driving, the ice was so packed up on the mirrors and everything.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Hey,
And
we're in closing right now. We're about to get cut off. We're down to 10 seconds. I want to thank everybody for coming out. Again, a great show. And we might have to do an impromptu follow-up. But again, thank you, and see you all next week.